Hey there. In this video, we're going to be looking at the use headers as first row and transpose table transformations in Power Query. So let's get started. Let's say that we've got data that looks like this. This is something you won't run into very often, but you might run into it occasionally, where you've got, clearly you've got tabular data, but this doesn't look like a header. This looks like a piece of the data. So there should be, the header should be store. There should be actual headers here called store, and then Belmont, Alberta, downtown, and then maybe total sales over here. But there was no header, so it just assumed that the first row were the headers. So we need to undo that. That's what you use headers as first row for. So let's head over to Power Query and do that. So we're here in Simple Toolbar Transformations.xlsx. We're in the headers as first row sheet. Let's head to Power Query, get our data from a table. Okay, this is pretty darn easy. We're just going to go over here to Transform, click on the little button under here and say Use Headers as First Row. Boom, all done. Okay, oh, and it looks like this is it's interpreted this as text, because notice this one is aligned to the left as opposed to these which are aligned to the right. So let's fix that. We're going to change our type to decimal number, so that way they're all decimal numbers. Let's rename this store. Well, I just call it store, and we're gonna rename this. Right click, total sales. Enter. Okay, there we go. That looks better. A common place where you might use this is when you want to transpose a table. What is transposing? Well, it's a fancy way of saying you want to sort of rotate it. If you imagine like in a diagonal line going this way, you're going to rotate it. So everything that was a row before becomes a column, and everything that was a column before becomes a row. So let's go ahead and undo this and see what the problem. Well, actually, let's look at what it looks like when it's done correctly. So we've already used the headers as a first row. We've already done that transformation. So let's go ahead and transpose the sheet. Boom. So here we were before. We had on the first column, we had the names of the stores, and on the second column, we had the sales. Here on the first row, we have the names of the stores, and on the second row, we have the total sales. Notice how we've sort of flipped it along an imaginary diagonal line. Boop. Boop. Okay. You don't use that a whole lot, but you'll use it sometimes. I used it a couple weeks ago for something. Let's look at what happens when you don't do things correctly. So if we're right here and we try and transpose it, what'll happen is it'll transpose everything in the table, but it's going to ignore the headers. And since Belmont and the total sales for Belmont are here in the headers, it's going to ignore those in the transposition. So it's just going to like go away. So right now we've got Alberta and downtown. I want to hit transpose. Well, we've got Alberta and downtown, but Belmont is nowhere to be found in the transposition. So to make this work, we have to use headers as first row and then do our transpose. And then I guess if you wanted to from here, you could actually use first row as headers. That might be useful to you. Okay, nice and easy. I will see you next video.